I'm Harrison Graham. It's time for a Bears Now mailbag. Bear Down Forever says, who is the X factor in Sunday's game against the Titans? It's a good question. One player that comes to mind for me is Kevin Byard for a couple of reasons. One, he had a good training camp, multiple interceptions in camp. He's a guy that has a lot of picks in his career. I think he's a clear upgrade from Eddie Jackson. But two, yes, it's a new regime in Tennessee, but he knows that team pretty well. He's played there for the majority of his career. Got traded midseason last year to Philadelphia, but he knows the personnel there. Again, new schemes and all that stuff, so I'm not saying he's going to have all the answers, but he knows a tendency of a DeAndre Hopkins. He knows what young Will Levis looks like. So I think he could spread his wisdom and knowledge in this game. And, a little bold prediction here. How about a Kevin Byard interception to kick off his Bears debut? That would certainly be a lot of fun. Who do you guys think? Bears X Factor this week. If you had to pick just one. If I added one on offense, I'd say DeAndre Swift. But on defense, I'm going Kevin Byard. Drop a name in the comment section down below. Your Bears X Factor against the Tennessee Titans. Harquavius, $5 super chat. Hey, if it doesn't work out this year with Flus, would you rather hire Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, or possibly Tomlin if he and the Steelers agree to part ways? If I had to rank that, I'd go Tomlin 1, Vrabel 2, Belichick 3. 1 and 2 would be close. You could certainly talk me into Vrabel. Really what it would come down to is who can hire the better OC. I mean, that would be what that came down to. If it doesn't work out with Flus, preferably I'd go offense. Like I'd go get Ben Johnson, pair him with Caleb Williams, and hopefully they're together for the next 10 or 15 years. I think most of the good teams now, offensive head coach who calls the plays with the quarterback who gets it done. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, Matt Stafford, Sean McVay, Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan. Like that's the formula, I think. Now, doesn't mean you can't win with defense. I'm rooting for Flus to be that guy. But in your hypothetical, if he does have to go, these three guys would be good options, but I would go back to the offensive side of things and pair someone with Caleb Williams. Illuminati, what do you think will be the next significant move made by Ryan Poles? It's a good question. Feels like something at the trade deadline. I think he'll have a patient approach early on here. But if the Bears are contending, say they're 5-3, something like that when the deadline's here, they need another pass rusher. If they need another weapon on offense, if you lose one of your safeties or something like that, you need a guy to shore up the back end. I think he'll certainly look for opportunities to add there. But I think after missing out on Matt Judon, his big swings right now are done. I think he'll, Halloween, he'll start monitoring that situation again. All right, hashtag Bears Super Chat. We'll get to more questions here, but first, do want to shout out our sponsor for today's show. That is Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy with Prize Picks. We appreciate them for sponsoring today's show. Football is back, and so is Prize Picks here on Bears Now. The way it works is simple. You select 2 to 6 players in your Prize Picks lineup, pick more or less on their projected stats and place your entry. It takes less than a minute. That's after taking just 90 seconds to create your account at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Code CLNS going to get you a $50 bonus when you play for just $5. So go check that out. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, you're going to get that $50 bonus. I've had this one launched a few weeks back. Little tip though now, Caleb Williams more or less than half a passing yard, so that is available at your disposal. I've launched a couple with that as well. Did love getting Tyreek Hill at more than 90.5 receiving yards. That number has gone up, but throughout the month of September, you can get Caleb Williams for half a passing yard, so take advantage of that every week. You're halfway home to a win. If you do a 2-player entry, you can go up to 6 players. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Choose more, choose less. Code CLNS, $50 bonus when you play for just $5. Link is in the comments and in the description. Get started today. It is Prize Picks. All right, let's go to Illuminati again here. I commented this one on Shorts earlier. Do you think the Bears could bring in Matt Ryan as a consultant to serve as the veteran quarterback in the room? Thoughts? We answered this before the mailbag segment, but I'll say it again here. He's got a full-time gig with CBS, who probably pays him pretty well to be one of their lead NFL analysts, probably $250,000, maybe $500,000. So I think Matt Ryan's chilling right now. But played college with Ryan Poles. They're close. He spent a day or two at training camp hanging out with Poles. So Wouldn't rule that out down the road, but I think right now he's chilling, playing golf, and calling some football games. Jaden Grimm, if Velus looks good early on, do you think Herbert is traded before the deadline? I am curious about this because if Velus finds himself a role early this season, maybe not a big role, but say he's getting 5-6 touches a game out of the backfield, and Herbert's getting 5-6, and Swift is the lead dog, whatever. Well, A, does Roschon have a role on this team, who I know they like? B, if Velus's touches are impactful, do they want to increase those? And if they do, well, at that point, you definitely don't need both Khalil and Roschon. And since Khalil's on an expiring deal, do you try to flip him? Do you try to trade him to a team at the deadline that could use a running back? Because it's a pretty crowded room right now. And if you watch the Hard Knocks finale, they like what Velus is doing and how he's progressing at the running back position. It's almost like they should have done it a year and a half ago, like I suggested. But, I think if Velus shows some juice early on in the season, a guy like Khalil Herbert could become expendable. Jose Solis, appreciate the $5. 100,000 subs before Sunday, ? Also, bold prediction, Caleb Williams, 400 passing yards against the Titans. That is bold. I would not predict that. I think over 300 is very much on the table, though. 100,000 before Sunday seems unlikely. We just crossed 98,000. Round of applause, by the way. Subscribe now for free and daily content and join our watch party on Sunday starting at 10:45 a.m. Central Time. I'll say this, Jose. I could see us hitting 100,000 during the game potentially. And if we do, little surprise for you guys. So hit that sub button. Join us on Sunday. Let's get it popping. All right, Captain Bears man, hype man, saying this. Jalen Johnson interception. What do you think happens first? That, Montez Sweat sack, DJ Moore touchdown. I think if you're playing the odds, you'd have to say Montez Sweat sack, right? Because he had 12.5 sacks last year. DJ Moore had 8 touchdowns. Jalen Johnson had 4 interceptions. So if you're just playing the volume stats over the course of a season, you'd go Sweat most likely, Moore second likely, Johnson third likely. But certainly any of those could happen at any time. Like none of those are far-fetched predictions. So I'll stick with Sweat sack because Tennessee's offensive line has a lot of question marks. But the other two are very much on the table to happen in Week 1. Jimothy Jim Jum, did the Bears go from the most dysfunctional team in the league last year to a leading organization, or did Hard Knocks oversell the franchise? I think things settled down the second half of last year. I mean, it was tumultuous early. Chase Claypool was a mess. Alan Williams got fired and HR had to get involved. Another coach, David Walker, got fired reportedly due to an HR violation. Like it was a mess. But seemed like things settled down. Second half of the year, the team finished strong, and it's been a pretty drama-free offseason. No real issues. And sure, Hard Knocks is a TV show. They're going to try and lean into storylines. But I do buy into the narrative that this team is tight-knit, that they believe in one another, and that they feel good about where they're heading. Ryan Poles said, it's time to win. Like, I don't think he's saying that for the cameras. I think he's serious. It's year 3 now. So, yeah, are they leaning into that at HBO? I'm sure they are. But that doesn't mean it's not true. I think they are pretty well run right now, which is kind of crazy to think about after how things were looking early last season. I mean, this team at one point lost 14 in a row. Final 10 games of the first year with Flus, first 4 games last year. I mean, not many regimes survived that, and not only have they survived it, they're starting to thrive, I think. All right, Caleb Williams, how many touchdowns on Sunday total? Doesn't have to be passing, rushing, receiving, whatever. Total touchdowns. I'll go 2. Not sure if it's going to be 2 passing or a 1-and-1, but I'll go 2. You let me know how many total touchdowns for C-Dub. DC Viper, if Caleb overperforms this season, will the Mahomes comps be deserved? I mean, how does it look, right? Is he playing like Mahomes? Is he winning like Mahomes? Remember, a couple things. One, Mahomes only played 1 game as a rookie, so it's not apples to apples. But since he has taken over as a starter, the floor with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City has been losing in overtime in the AFC Championship game. So, is Caleb going to get the Bears to the NFC Championship game and put up ridiculous numbers? If he does, people are going to compare him to Mahomes. If he's good but not great and the Bears are pretty good, I don't think you're going to hear as much, but that's been a kind of an overused comparison. I'm sure you'll see more of it, But I just want him to play well. I just want him to win. I don't really care how it looks. And that's what he said. I don't care about my stats. I just want to win the game. That's what's most important at the end of the day. All right, appreciate all the questions. Got as many of you guys in as we could. If we missed you, at HGramNFL on Instagram, same handle on Twitter, X as well. It's at HGramNFL. Slide into the DMs. They are wide open.